Good afternoon, or early evening for some of you. And I was thinking we needed to talk a little bit about this guy anyway, and then we got the news that we did yesterday. So, we definitely got to talk about this guy now. So, Kenny McIntosh is in a little bit of a spotlight right now for a couple different reasons. One, he's been playing quite a bit at training camp so far, and the early reports are really good. There have been a couple of videos that you can watch on Twitter of it. Obviously, they can't uh, publicize videos from every training camp session, but from the ones that we've had, he's looking athletic, he's looking explosive, he's looking fast. That 4.6 240 time doesn't look like it's a real thing that's affecting him as a player. So he's looking good out there. He's looking like he's ready to contribute to the Seattle Seahawks. And I've said already that I think he'll contribute a little bit on special teams as a kick returner. That was something he did at Georgia. And I do think he'll see a little bit of action on offense. But when I did my predictions for stat lines, I gave him like less than 200 total yards of offense. A little bit receiving, a little bit rushing, and that was it because I was looking at it and I was just trying to figure out where is there room for Kenny McIntosh on this offense right now. If you're looking at him as a running back, you've got two guys at least in front of him in K9 and Charbonnet. And while there may be some coaches out there who would be into the idea of like building this perfect backfield where maybe K9 gets 40% of the snaps, Charbonnet gets 30%, McIntosh gets 15, DJ Dallas gets 15, something like that, that's not realistic. For most coaches, and I think this applies to Pete, you have the guys that you like more than the other guys, and you want them on the field more. So while in theory, yeah, you probably could do something like that where you split up the carries really evenly so nobody's getting a big load, I don't think that's very realistic. I don't think that's the way we're going to do things. I think that if K9 is capable of playing, he's going to get a majority of the snaps, maybe a pretty decent sized majority as well, because he's our best running back. So if you're looking at him as a running back, he's not going to be taking a lot of snaps from guys like K9, who was so good last year. And really, if you look at Kenny McIntosh as a third down back, which he in some ways is because he's a excellent pass catcher, Charbonnet is also a good pass catcher, and he has other attributes that he's bringing to the table that McIntosh doesn't have. So, really, you put it all together, it's hard to find room for McIntosh to get into a healthy and happy Seahawks backfield. Now, if you're looking at McIntosh as a receiver, because he does line up as a receiver a decent amount of the time, and you can definitely get creative with that, receiver is one of our strengths as a team. We've got two veterans who have proven themselves to be really good in this league, Metcalf, Lockett. Both guys are highly paid. Both guys are highly productive. Both guys have done it for years. I don't think you're taking snaps away from those guys. And then, of course, JSN, he's been the star of the show so far in training camp. So I don't think you're taking snaps from him as well. And you're not going to see that many snaps where the Seahawks have more than three receivers out there. Of course, you're going to have subs, but then you've got guys like Derek Young, who we seem to like at least a little bit. Then you've got guys like Cade Johnson. Then you've got guys like Matt Landers or Jake Bobo or Dwayne Eskridge. So it's hard to find a way for McIntosh to get onto the field in a healthy offense, but I did think that there was a pretty good chance that some of our top running backs would miss at least some time and McIntosh could step in those games. Well, already we're not even at padded practice yet. I think today was our first helmet and padded practice. We've already got two running back injuries, K9 and Charbonnet. So that, I think, invites more discussion about Kenny McIntosh, what he is as a player, and how we could make this work. Because odds are good, if we don't have Charbonnet for a period of time in the regular season or K9, yeah, if it's before the season and you know it's a long-term deal, a long-term proposition of them missing games, then you could go out and get a more high-profile guy. But more than likely, you're going to be picking up some little known guy. Or you keep a guy like Wayne Talupapa, which I already addressed before. That would be okay. But Wayne Talupapa would not come in here and be the guy who touches the ball 30 times a game. He would come in here as depth. And you would be looking at DJ Dallas and Kenny McIntosh to carry the load. So DJ Dallas speaks for himself. I think we all know what DJ Dallas is. I don't feel the need to talk about that. He's a decent enough running back. He's capable, but you wouldn't call him special in any real way. He just gets the ball, carries the ball, catches the ball, blocks. He's relatively effective, but you wouldn't call him a standout. But Kenny McIntosh is the key to make a hypothetical thin Seahawks running back room work. And the thing about Kenny McIntosh is how unique his skill set is. He does run with a little bit of power. I do think he has a little bit more speed and elusiveness than he showed at the Combine, but Kenny McIntosh is not a traditional running back. When you look at Kenny McIntosh, the main thing that stands out is that he does almost as much damage catching the ball as he does running the ball. Last year was a career year. The first year he was the featured back for Georgia, he averaged less than 10 carries a game. But he did average almost 3 catches a game and had 500 receiving yards. So we are talking about an Austin Eckler type in terms of production. He's got just over 825 rushing yards and just over 500 receiving yards. So he's doing a good amount in both areas, but when you look at his skill set and you think about what's going to happen in the NFL, the thing about Kenny McIntosh that stands out is not so much the fact that he's like a Zach Charbonnet, because Zach Charbonnet, I look at him and I see a third down back, a true blue third down back. Kenny McIntosh is a little bit different. He does some of the same things in terms of he can catch the ball, but I don't know if I trust his blocking as much as I do with Charbonnet. And more than that, Kenny McIntosh is not just a pass catcher. He is a route runner. He's somebody who can line up as a receiver and run receiver routes. So building an offense that has Kenny McIntosh in a featured role, which I guess would happen if we have these running back injuries linger on into the regular season, that's going to take some creativity on the part of this offense. That's going to take some real ability to be flexible with the way in which you utilize these guys. It can be done, but you're not going to be able to utilize McIntosh in the same way you're utilizing any other running back on this team. You can give him the ball up the middle, sure. You can hand the ball to him a few times a game, of course. But Kenny McIntosh, the difference here is you look at a guy like a Zach Charbonnet, who's a really good pass catcher. Most of his catches are in the flats. Most of his catches are dump-offs, check-downs, safety valve type plays, where he's not making a big play, but he's getting a few yards because nothing else was there. The quarterback looked downfield, didn't see anything, got it to Charbonnet, so we at least get something, so he can get the ball out of his hands. And maybe Charbonnet can make somebody miss or run somebody over, and it's great. But Kenny McIntosh is not that. Kenny McIntosh, he actually runs routes. Charbonnet doesn't run that many routes. McIntosh is running Texas routes over the middle. He's running wheel routes down the sideline, and he's doing these things effectively and efficiently. So that is the unique challenge, but also the unique benefit of having Kenny McIntosh as a big part of your offense. So, if Kenny McIntosh ends up forced into a featured role, because I've already kind of gone on record saying that I don't think a healthy Seahawks offense has room for McIntosh to do that much. 2024, 2025, different story maybe. But this year, I didn't think a rookie Kenny McIntosh would be able to get on the field all that much. But if we've already got injury issues at running back and this bleeds over to the regular season, the challenge is going to be building the offense around him, because he can do it. I'm not doubting for a second that he can do it. You're seeing the good stuff on him from training camp. You're seeing what he did in college. It makes all the sense in the world. He can definitely do it. Kenny McIntosh can definitely, even as a rookie, I think, step in and contribute meaningfully to an NFL offense. but you would have to adapt a very pass-heavy offense. It would be a lot like last year in some of those games where we didn't really have a running back, so we just passed and passed and passed. Those games where we were down to DJ Dallas and Tony Jones. It would be like that. The difference would be you would be working with a little bit better stuff in terms of who you're throwing to. Last year, it was Metcalf, Lockett, sometimes Goodwin, and then the tight ends. Now this year, you're going to hopefully have JSN, who should be a nice upgrade in that area as a third receiver. You've still got your tight ends. And if McIntosh is the running back, that could be a scenario where he actually kind of thrives. So you would have to change up the offense a little bit, call different plays, do things differently than you did pretty much at any other time. Because McIntosh, the last time we had a player like McIntosh would be either CJ Procise or JD McKissick. Neither time could we really get those guys to resonate that well in the offense. We couldn't really get them to go. It just wasn't really a strength of our offense at the time. Wilson's not great at throwing the balls to his running backs, and the coordinators we had at the time weren't big on that kind of stuff, I don't think. But now, if we're forced into a situation where we can't really run the ball as much as we want to because we're down our top running backs, Kenny McIntosh is going to be forced into a big role, and I believe that he can do it. Everything is indicating to me that he can do it. The question is, can the offense adjust and put him in the right positions where he can do those things? How do you guys feel about it? What do you think? Let me know down below. This is kind of the linchpin. If we are actually missing Charbonnet and K9 for an extended period of time, I don't have anything concrete there yet. I don't know exactly what's going on there yet. But if those guys miss significant time, the key to us maintaining at least a reasonable offense in the downtime would be Kenny McIntosh. See you guys later. Go Hawks.